Welcome. This week's episode, we're going to look at people pleasing and finding that confidence and that strength and sharing yourself. People want to do business with you. Sharing yourself, finding your confidence, working through, and stop people pleasing. We have to become brave enough to challenge ourselves. We have to become bold when sharing our special story. We all have something special inside. Are we willing and able to make the stand and say, yes, this is the life that's worth fighting for? That's right, people pleasing isn't all that it's cracked up to be, and maybe you are doing it on a certain level, and if you are, it's probably affecting you on a day-to-day life. Before we get into that, I really would like if you could take one moment here and like this video, and if you could subscribe to this channel, that'd be awesome. By subscribing to this channel, you are supporting this movement that I'm trying to create, this movement of embracing your uniqueness, taking charge and just finding that confidence and that love for yourself, that self-understanding and that self-acceptance. It takes a lot of work to get into that growth-minded mindset, that simple disciplines, that daily grind that you have to go after. It really takes effort and it takes work, and believe me, I know by personal experience. 4 years ago, I went on my own beginnings of self-development and I've stuck to it. Daily disciplines, a lot of work, and the results have been amazing. In today's video, I just kind of want to go back into something that I stumbled over. I wrote down on my computer at the time, made one of those little post-it notes that said, share yourself. People want to do business with your authentic self. I don't know why I wrote that at the time, but now 4 years later, I came across that, and this is just a pure reflection on that note now and what it means to me. Thanks again, and like I said, if you could just take a moment, subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave a comment below. Engage into this. I'd love to start more of a conversation on this channel and open up these doors and continue to grow and to learn how I can best serve the people that are watching this video. I came across this quote from Jim Rohn, who had said, if you work harder on yourself than at your job, you will achieve great successes in your life. And now, further into this, 4 years into all this, the amount of work I've put on myself. And over time, my accountability has grown. And by becoming accountable for your life, your situation, really sitting down and taking that time to go over, learn the lessons from your past, really have a true, honest relationship with your present and clarify where you want to go in the future. Most of this all comes down to is clearing out all this negative fear-living mentality and just trying to open up your world and open up yourself to just taking on a little bit more of accountability on your day-to-day life. Also, opening yourself up to the idea, the very important idea of this, being vulnerable is your power source. And being vulnerable does not mean that you are weak. It actually means that you are accepting the fact that you are unique and you're special, and there is something inside of you that you want to share with the world and that you really want to run and be in tune with. But you're going to have to take work, and it's going to take discipline. It's going to take some sacrifices. It's going to take a consistency. And if you can build that mentality and that positive momentum towards your goals and dreams, you'll be amazed on just how far you can run. I have written on my computer screen, one of the many things, was this idea of sharing yourself. Now, this comes from the fact that for me, one of the biggest things that I have struggled with was this people-pleasing mentality, hiding behind my sense of humor, always being able to quick and deflect and throw out quick liners, and I'm just really quick on my words in conversations, and it was almost like this defense to get the attention off of me. A lot of that comes from being born with physical disabilities and always having these opinions rain down on me over the years of people's ideas of what I can and cannot do, what I look like, the odd stares, the endless opinion that just comes with just being born physically different than other people. And I'm sure people out there can resonate with that. And it's not just physical disabilities. I mean, obviously this moves farther into so many areas of diversity in general. Like if you look at the world, there's so many different people in different walks of life, and the world is diverse. As much as some people in the world wish it wasn't diverse, it is diverse. So the odds there and that public opinion will be there. And this is an idea of you have to share yourself. And I can't believe I wrote that at the time. It probably meant something so totally different to me. at the time I had just moved into a 1-bedroom apartment to be closer to my job, where I was going to venture into this life of bike riding to work, and I could barely afford this apartment. I had absolutely no possessions. I had a computer on a stand, a bed, 2 folding chairs, a table, and a couple things that I could cook with, and that's how I lived. And it seems so small, but that isolation and that small living, I don't want to say small, it's more like that minimalistic living. Like everything just kind of fell apart. All these things that you could build up your ego with around you, all these, material things, like everything was just stripped down. It was me alone in a park with a mission to just build back my relationship with myself. And so I was fortunate enough to have this idea in my mind to start consuming positive, motivating, self-development YouTube content. And it took me a long time for it to all to resonate, but I'm sure that this idea of share yourself, people want to do business with yourself, was probably just a quote that I heard that I liked, and I figured I would write it down and keep it in my mind. But now fast forward, 4 years later, the amount of things that have opened up to me and the amount of confidence I have in myself, in my abilities, in my direction of where I want to go in my future, and that we're talking into my finance, into my relationships, into my my career goals, into just my overall world is growing and growing and expanding because I took the time or I had the time to focus all the energy on myself and really look within, look into that mirror and learn to actually say in front of a mirror for the first time, and probably at that time 35 years, that, hey, I love you, Isaac, and you're doing a great job, and you keep going, and you're worth it, and keep working at it, and don't stop, and start to ignore and quiet the voices around you. Everybody is going to want to put their opinion in your life. And that is from relationships close to you, like your parents, your close friends, your partners, whatever. Like they will want to put their opinions into your life, as much as even just the random, online comment from, like a person you don't even know, but they just feel like they can drop their opinion on your life. And you have these two worlds, something that's so close to you on one edge, and then there's something so distant from you on the other edge, all dropping their opinion, and you live in the middle of that whole world experience. Like, the spectrum, you're living in the middle of that spectrum, but really what you have to do is attack the edges instead of trying to fight from inside out, like with this, in the mix of it, and take on everyone's opinion. Learn to define your edges. Learning to trust yourself, believe in yourself, do the daily work on yourself, and stand up for yourself. You will start to say to other people, listen, fuck off, man. Like, just relax. Like, I can do this. And it's not like, oh, it's not a negative F you to the world. It's not. It's a positive. It's a release of, I am not going to just allow everyone to stampede over my life. Maybe on the people that know you and that love you are doing it out of a place of just wanting the best for you. And, they're sharing their lived experiences with you. But they don't live your life, and they can be a part of your life, but they can't direct it and they can't control it. They cannot be your soul light in the direction of where you're going. And so you need to be able to take that responsibility in your own hands. And as soon as you're able to do that, especially with the people that mean the most to you, it's so much easier to let go of that public opinion from the faceless, nameless people out there that are always going to be willing and able to drop their opinions, good or bad. And it's almost like living back in that high school mentality, that middle school mentality, that school mentality of always wanting other people to like you. And that just was where we slide into that people-pleasing mentality, where you're always putting the needs and the wants and the opinions of everyone else first, because you don't want to rock the boat. You always want someone to like you, and you want people to accept you, and you want to always be the person that someone says, man, they'll do anything for you, and like they're so kind, and but there is a massive, massive difference between being a good and kind and caring person in the world, and an active contributor, versus being a people pleaser. A people pleaser leaves you with nothing in the tank for yourself. And I have known and lived that experience so much, and that led to a lot of my depression and my battles, my internal battles, was that defense mechanism, or that overdrive energy I would put towards making sure everyone else enjoyed me and accepted me and liked me. And that was because, everyone else, people would make fun of me all the time in my life as a kid, and to combat that constant, battle of, oh, I don't want to be made fun of, I better get them to really like me. And I don't want them to stare at me, so I better get them to really like me. I don't want them to doubt me, so I better get them to really like me. And you see how that, like, those were just where I was at as a young kid. And I mean, that's a young mind trying to process a really heavy idea and topic. And then later in my life as an adult, I never broke away from that. And then as an adult world, trying to defend myself in an adult world, my go-to initial feeling was, how do I people please? How do I be what you want? And how can I maintain those relationships, always being the life of the party, the funny person, the person that's willing to just give. And then I ran out of anything for myself, losing my relationship with myself, not knowing who I was at some point. I lost my identity because I was so many things to so many different people. And so in a way, people pleasing, it's not a positive, he's a people pleaser. People might say, well, he's really kind. No, he's not. He's just really kind of deceptive, right? Like, you're just deceptive if you're just constantly people pleasing people, because you're not being yourself to someone. You're not being kind or courteous or a contributor. You're actually just pleasing. So you're actually just molding and shifting and giving someone a very loosely formed, shelled version of yourself, and therefore you are causing more strife because you're not being authentic, and you are losing touch with who you are and who you want to be. And believe me, as you move your focus and your energy to the relationship you have with yourself and where you are in yourself, you will move through the world more as a leader, more as someone who has the energy to truly contribute, to truly be kind, and truly be courteous to other people. And so now fast forward, so share yourself. Here we go. 4 years ago, I wrote down, share yourself. People want to do business with your authentic self, authentic people. But then now the way I interpret that is having my confidence, starting to believe and prioritize myself in my life, and building that self-development mindset, that relationship with myself, my self-acceptance, my self-understanding, my self-love, and my self-growth minded mindset is what makes me so special to everybody else. And it's the same for you, I promise you out there. Your focus should be within, because the stronger your relationship is with yourself, the more you can be confident and define what you want in this world and have a better relationship with your mind, body, and spirit. Take the time to eat nutritious food. Take the time to sleep appropriately. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Exercise your body. Move and learn and grow. Become connected with some kind of spiritual higher power, something that connects you to the great energy of this world. It does not have to be any set religion. I'm not pushing any set religion, but I will tell you that your world will open up further the more you develop this idea that you are a part of something greater than yourself. And then that gives you this release that you're in it. You are accepted. Share something about your relationship with people pleasing, whether you maybe feel like you're stuck in it, or maybe you've worked to get out of it. Maybe leaving a comment might help someone else. Take what I'm saying in this and go a little bit further, and let's move this train and help people out. And let's all work a little bit harder each day on quieting the noise, focusing the energy instead on everyone else and bring it within. And I'm telling you, let's go within and make this world a better place by working inside out. All right, thanks again, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. And remember, embrace your uniqueness. You know, we do all have a special story to share, and we need to have the confidence, the brave courage it takes to share that gift that's locked inside with the world, because the world needs your gifts.